Yes, yes, yes. Yo, 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 whatever you want to call it. What up, dope? All those great things. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another high energy episode of Mortgage Mayhem. This is episode number 36. I'm your humble host, G Money, bringing you the stories that's shaking up America, the real estate shifts you need to know, and the mortgage hacks that can change your financial life forever. We've got breaking political moves, Detroit updates, housing market alarms, new airport rules, and a wild dating app study that will make your head spin. Let's get into it because today the mayhem is real, folks. Let's do a little housekeeping real quick and then we'll get right into it.
Welcome to the Mortgage Mayhem podcast, where the mortgage game meets real life, real talk, and a whole lot of chaos. We break down the deals, the drama, and the data behind the scenes of real estate finance, with a twist of street smarts, savvy, and a touch of madness. Before we dive in, here's the deal. The Mortgage Mayhem podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. We are not attorneys, CPAs, or licensed financial advisors, and nothing you hear on this show should be taken as legal, financial, or investment advice. Always consult a licensed professional before making financial decisions. Welcome to the Mortgage Mayhem podcast.
Welcome, welcome. Know we always got to get that out the way. It's a lot going on, man. Just happy to be back this week. Hopefully, you guys had a great week leading up to today. I'm still a little under the weather, which is crazy. This sinus stuff, it's a whole different animal. That's why I'm trying to stay warm, sweatshirts, beanies, all that old good ish to try to get back to some normalcy. But it's been tough, but I'm manning it out. I'm here to give you this good old info, and then we're gonna get out of here so I can, kind of get back to my getting well regimen. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into this thing. Why does it do that? I don't know why it does that. All right, we might have to freestyle this thing. Freestyle this thing. Freestyle this thing. What do we got going here? Yeah, for whatever reason, it my assets, my media assets. Okay, let's do this. Let's redo them all, folks. I apologize. This my studio, for whatever reason, it does some crazy stuff. Okay, here we go. Back in business. All right, so first up, I didn't even know this, folks, but let's bring this up. Uh, this just threw me for a loop, for real. The Catholic Church in Detroit, with a famed mural depicting Jesus as a black man, has been saved from permanent closure thanks to an ad hoc group who fought to keep the parish alive. St. Charles Lawanga, formerly known as St. Cecilia, on 10400 Stopple Street, held his last mass in mid-October after the Archdiocese of Detroit had declared months earlier that the parish on the city's northwest side needed to shutter due to costly building repairs and dwindling membership. The image of a black Jesus is part of a mural in the church and domed ceiling behind the altar. It was created in 1968 by local artist Devion Cunningham in response to the changing demographics of the area. The 1967 civil uprising in Detroit and the civil rights movement, according to various media outlets, including a 2023 interview by the Detroit News. So this was crazy. I didn't even, I mean, like I said, I went to Catholic schools growing up. I ain't never seen no black Jesus in nobody's church. So to even know that this existed, it was kind of shocking to me. And I wanted to bring it up, of course, just to kind of talk about it a little bit. I don't even really know how to wrap my mind around it, to be honest with you. I just know it was something that I just wanted to bring up, because at the end of the day, all the Jesuses that you ever see in churches is a white-eyed, white-faced, blue-eyed, Jesus for the most part. That's in black churches, that's in white churches, that's in wherever you go. So for somebody to have the kahunas to do this, I just felt like, let's just talk about it, because it's just something that, you don't see. And I didn't even know this type of thing existed. And for it to be right in my backyard, to me, I feel like I got to go and pay it a visit. I'm not Catholic, but like I said, I went middle school, high school, Catholic schools. So I'm familiar with, everything that they're talking about. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in just going to visit and just seeing it with my own eyes. I guess it's up in the dome of the church. It looks like some civil servants came through and saved the church from it being demolished and taken away. So that's another big thing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go put my eyes on this one. And if you're in the Detroit area, I would say you're African American descent, you might want to go and see something that you've never seen before, because I know you haven't seen it unless you just come from one of those radical black families who, just believe that Jesus is a black man, or Jesus is one of color. It's just not something that you even think about, you even have a second thought about, because we were it was just beat in our brain for the most part that Jesus was a white man. So we'll keep our eyes on this one, and when I go and come back, I'll let you know if there was some kind of feeling that I got once I entered the church or whatnot. So yeah, that was interesting. All right, let's talk about this dude right here. So Donald Trump has pardoned former Honduras President Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was serving a 45-year prison sentence in the United States for helping to traffic hundreds of tons of cocaine into the country. Hernandez has served just 4 years of his sentence. Trump has pardoned him, even as he claims he renewed conflict with Venezuela and aimed at ending drug trafficking. The U.S. Bureau of Prisons inmate website showed that Hernandez was released from the U.S. Penitentiary Hazleton in West Virginia on Monday. That's your boy, Trump, Juan Orlando Hernandez. He went ahead and pardoned that guy, let him go about his business. And this guy was a major player in the drug trafficking game, from what I can tell. Allegedly, I don't know. He got convicted of it, so I'm assuming he was doing some shit he wasn't supposed to do. And Trump, Of course, just pocketing and doing all the illegal things that he could possibly do to build his generational wealth. I'm pretty sure this man paid a nice little penny to get that pardon. He spent 4 years, so he was locked down 4 years, so he did spend some time behind bars. But if he is the guy who they say he is, he has millions and millions and millions stacked away. So pretty sure he paid a pretty little penny to get his freedom. And of course, the Trumps, they pocket it, for the next generation, the Barons of the world, and then their kids. So, it is what it is. We got a crooked president from every indicator. It ain't really nothing anybody can do because, like I said in the last episode, elections have consequences. So, you know, we'll keep an eye on the future and see what this particular pardon, what's going to be the outcome down the road. This ain't the only controversial pardon. There's been some others as well. So this is just what he do. You know, I don't want folks to become numb to it, but every day is some silly, some new, something crazy. You just sit there like, this the person we got running our country for real. We're just not used to it. So, you know, and we ain't even shit. We just got through a year. Not even a year really, because he didn't take office until January. So we're almost in a year, and it's been straight pandemonium. So and it's still so much more to go. And we got like a whole nother year before we can see some kind of changes in upcoming, elections or whatnot. So hang on tight, folks. We got a long ride ahead of us, and it's looking real bumpy. All right, let's keep it moving. All right. So da 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 da. All right, so TSA travelers who still don't have real ID real IDs will soon face a new fee at airport security. Beginning February 1st, the TSA will require non-real ID passengers to use a new identity verification system called Confirm.ID, which costs $45 per use. The agency says the charge helps cover the tech and administration work required to verify identity without real ID compliant documents. Oh, excuse me. Only about 6% of U.S. airline passengers are expected to need the alternative process. Passengers can complete Confirm ID online before heading to the airport by uploading their documents through a TSA portal and bringing the receipt with them. The process is valid for 10 days from the first flight of the trip. Those who don't complete it ahead of time can still do it at the airport, though TSU warns it may take 10 to 30 minutes. Even with the fee, identity verifications isn't guaranteed. TSA may still deny boarding if you can't confirm who you are. For now, real ID compliant licenses, passports, global entry cards, and other federal ID remains the easiest way to get through security. TSA recommends checking its webpage for updates as accepted forms of identification may change. See, I just got these yarns because I've been on so much medication. It's just been crazy. Just bringing y'all into my world a little bit. All right, so folks, get your real ID. I know people got conspiracy theories, but if you're a traveling person, you're gonna need your real ID. And typically, once you get your license renewed or whatever the case may be, that's when they, issue you the real ID. So just so you don't have to be going through this, paying all this extra money, get into your local DMV and get your real ID so you can move accord and, move through the world the way you're supposed to move through the world. All right. Any updates come, we'll bring, we'll talk about it. But in the meantime, in between time, go get your real ID, folks. This is not like rocket scientists. Everybody should be able to get this done. All right. All right, let's keep it moving. Okay, some more craziness. Alina Habba is out of a job again after a U.S. appeals court ruled today that her reappointment to serve as U.S. Attorney for New Jersey was illegal. These folks this is the crazy. All right. Habba has been disqualified. Alina Habba was appointed by, of course, President Trump to serve as interim U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey. Interim U.S. Attorney only serves for 120 days unless they're confirmed by the Senate or given an indefinite extension by federal judges. When her appointment expired, federal judges in the state of New Jersey denied her the opportunity to stay on the job. They replaced Habba with a career prosecutor who had been acting as her number two. Attorney General Pam Bondi, another crazy individual in power, refused to accept this change because she wanted to have a U.S. attorney in New Jersey that would answer to her, of course. Bondi fired the prosecutor and reappointed Alina Habba as acting U.S. attorney for New Jersey. Today, the Third U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Philadelphia ruled that Alina Habba was illegally serving as the U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, disqualifying her from the role. The federal judge says that the moves made by Pam Bondi were unlawful, of course, and improper. This means that in any cases Alina Habba has brought forward since July could be impacted or tossed out. Last week, charges against Letitia James and James Comey were tossed out because the interim U.S. Attorney for Eastern District of Virginia, Lindsay Halligan, was also disqualified. Alina Habba used her authority as interim U.S. Attorney to target elective officials like Congresswoman LaMonica McIver with bogus charges for allegedly storming an ICE facility despite video proof that refutes those claims. McIver pleaded not guilty to these charges, but a judge refused to toss the case. And, man, I am so sick of these folks just running around roughshod, doing whatever they want to. It just seemed like, I don't know what happened, like the world has just turned into a renegade world. Like the white folks got in charge and decided they want to be some of the crookedest folks on the earth. Like they couldn't wait to be crooked. Like they couldn't wait to do damage to the world, to the United States. And the thing about it, you just got people sitting back just seeing this. I guess the courts is batting it down or doing what they're supposed to do in their capacity to not let this craziness go on. But then you got the other side of the aisle who's just kind of sitting back. I ain't never seen no Democrats this week. I guess I'm really just getting into politics probably since Obama, and there was some folks there that, I just leading up to Obama, just his people that was out stumping for him, they were some dogs. These cats that's in government right now, man, they are some poodles. I mean, they just letting this man just run shy. I mean, I know he got the Senate, he got the House, whatever, and the presidency, of course. But man, ain't nobody really putting up no fight. They talk a lot of ish, But I think, to me, the worst people in the world when it comes to stopping this mayhem is the fucking media. These reporters. I mean, how the hell do you sit there as a reporter and allow the president to call you piggy, allow the president to say you stupid? it's to the point now where they know it's like what bullies do. Once they know they can just, do whatever they want to you, they take full advantage of it. This man does not care what he says to the media. And it's almost like they get one question, and when it comes for them to do a follow-up after he didn't embarrass them, you don't hear no follow-ups. They just suck it up and move on to the next question. His press secretary, she be on the stump just doing the same thing, talking dead funky to these people, and it's almost like they all are weak as shit. I'm like, how do you get this job? How do you be a part of these media outlets and just be weak like this? I don't understand it. I don't get it. I just be wanting to just go in there and be like, so you're lying. And he'll be like, well, shut up. You're the worst outlet. ABC, CBS, you're the worst outlet in history. You guys are all fake news. Shut up. You stinky. You're ugly. And that's it. They don't do nothing else. They don't say anything else. They just take it. So to me, it's although they try to make it seem like the media, fake news, blah, 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 the media and the reporters more so than the media too, but the reporters that is reporting on this ish, they got to be some of the weakest human beings to ever do the job. I mean, I don't know if it was all or it's always been like this, but wow. Most, other presidents didn't demean folks like this one, but I'm pretty sure they was heavy-handed in certain circumstances. And I don't recall when Obama was president or Biden was president, I'm pretty sure they had their way, but to be insulting and just downright nasty. No, I think the first, Trump administration and this one here is, you know, they really and truly understand, like, you know what, we could get whatever ish we want to get off because these folks, they one question bandits. We'll They can ask us the question, we'll dog them. They never have no follow up. So, this is just going to be how we get our agenda through and say whatever it is that we want to say because we know they're not going to do nothing. We know they only going to say the one thing they're going to say, whatever kind of questioning it is, and follow up, it just never happens. So, to me, it's just such a letdown, to be honest with you. But anyway, let's keep it moving. All right. Is this right here? Nope. Okay. No. We was right. Okay, so President Trump has issued a full and unconditional pardon. Another freaking pardon, man. This dude here's handing out pardons like I don't even know how to describe it. He just like, boy, every time you look up, and ain't nobody that's good. Everybody's just and did dirt, dog folks, took folks' money. So let's look at this craziness right here. So he issued a full unconditional pardon to Joseph Schwartz, a former nursing home. He the bottom of the barrel. Nursing home operator from Suffern, New York, who was convicted earlier this year in a sweeping federal tax fraud case tied to his once vast nursing home network. Schwartz, who ran Skyline Management Group, oversaw 95 facilities across 11 states before the company collapsed. Prosecutors said that between late 2017 and mid 2018, he withheld nearly $39 million in payroll taxes from about 15,000 employees, but never sent the money to the IRS. Investigators who found he failed to file required reports for the company's 401k plan, leaving some workers with unexpected medical bills when withheld insurance funds were not remitted. As Skyline's finances spiraled, vendors and employees went unpaid. Facilities deteriorated, and several states shut down or took control of troubled nursing homes to protect residents. The company faced a wave of investigation and lawsuits involving Medicaid fraud claims, unpaid benefits, and mismanagement. President Trump has issued a full and unconditional pardon to Joseph Schwartz, a former nursing home operator from Suffern, New York. It's crazy. So, another person pardoned by our president, and from the looks of it, the person allegedly was a shit operator. Took money. I don't know if he necessarily took money from the actual patients, but it looks like the money he was receiving from the government in order to provide necessary services to these individuals. He was, he was being tricky with the payroll. That's a good way to put it. He was being tricky with the payroll, not trying, but 39 million in payroll taxes that was supposed to go to the government. I guess he went just straight, rogue and was like, you know what? I ain't about to be doing that. I am not about to be paying no payroll taxes. I'm about to pocket this money. So, hold on for 1 second. Okay. I got a call him back. Okay. But anyway, so yeah, it's another one, another one who he likes just have consequences. He probably Trump 20, give me 10, give me 15, give me 20 million. We'll holler at you. So I'm pretty sure a lot of that is what's going on. This man is getting so rich. If that's what's going on, allegedly, if that's what's going on, he is getting so wealthy because the folks he's letting out, they pack a lot of money because that's why they in there, because they robbed, stole, did what they had to do, got caught up, probably put a lot of the money up somewhere to the point where they could pay, 10, 15 million bounty to get out to the president and his people. Anyway, let's keep it moving. We'll keep our eye on it. It's going to be more pardons. So we'll be right back here talking about other pardons in the near future. All right. So let's keep it moving. So one of Detroit's largest residential landlords has stopped paying some of its bills. It's a sign of a revenue crisis built by a series of systematic challenges, and it paints a murky picture for the future of rental housing in a city where it's desperately needed. It's not just one real estate company's portfolio. There's broad agreement that companies that manage multifamily apartments are facing a compounding set of problems, particularly for those with concentration of market rate units. Their disagreement, though, as to root causes of the problem and importantly, how best to solve it. A Detroit-based Greatwater, which owns manages about 2,000 rental units across roughly 40 buildings around the city. Executives have simply halted mortgage payment on 3 multifamily buildings on the city's Lower East Side near Belle Isle, mounting non-payment by innovative population to spark new companies, new jobs, and new activity. Michigan's economy is stuck amid the uncertain cycles of politics and policy. And while the aging population will boost healthcare services, the sector will only add 1,400 jobs in 2026 before a net loss of 700 jobs in 2027, largely due to Medicaid cuts from the federal government, the economy projects. So, all right, well, I mean, it's just a real estate game. It's going to be ebbs and flows. When you jump out there and take the risk, you got to be prepared to, overcome the ebbs and flows, because that's just real estate for you. So we'll definitely keep our eye on this one. I know I will, being that I'm in the game. I'm constantly looking and watching. So if something comes down the pike that needs to be addressed, I will definitely, bring it back to you guys' attention. But for the most part, as of right now, what happened was, when things got good, people, jumped into the multifamily space, especially in an area like Detroit, and they bought up some things. So now, you know, things is slowing down a little bit. You know, some of those purchases is kind of coming to roost, so to speak. So, location is always important. And you got to know your demographics as well. So, like I said, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll let you know when something comes down the pike. See, guys, sinuses, your throat's constantly draining. It's just a mess, y'all. But anyway, let's keep it moving. All right. I thought this was unique. So Detroit has a road that literally charges electric cars while they roll over it on a quarter mile of 14th Street in Detroit. Copper coals under the asphalt turn an ordinary lane in North America's first public electric road that can charge EVs while they move. The pilot uses special receivers in test vehicles to pull in about 16 kilowatts of power while driving. So Michigan can learn how to scale the tech to buses, shuttles, and busy city routes. If roads can charge cars in motion, the real advantage goes to the places that build this grid, not the people stressing about range. That's so true. I mean, this is crazy. Um, if they can get their hands around this and be able to do it on, just regularly, where almost like the HOV lanes, this is going to be huge for electric car drivers. We'll keep our eye on it. It's right here in Detroit. At some point, I'm gonna go and check it out and come back and let y'all know exactly what it is. But yeah, to see this, I was like, oh wow, this is technology at its best. So to me, this is a good thing. We'll see how, like they said, the distances it matters, because you just don't want to jump on there, get a little 2 second charge, 3 second, 5 second charge, and then you back on the regular streets. But if there's like I said, like an actual HOV lane, I think this will be impactful. So we'll keep our eyes on it, and we'll let you know once something comes down the pike. All right. Okay, so let's talk about this. A recent study revealed a shocking truth about modern dating. 65% of dating apps users are married or already in a relationship. Excuse me. While dating apps have become a mainstream way to meet people, used by over 44 million Americans, may not be delivering the meaningful connection people hope for. Retired marriage counselor Dr. Taylor Burrows argues that dating apps actually work against those seeking real long-term love. According to her, the apps are built on an implicit system that encourages juggling multiple people at once, a structure that mimics a polyamorous lifestyle and undermines monogamy. And because these platforms profit from keeping users single and swiping, not from helping them pair off, the odds are stacked against genuine success. Dr. Barrows also points out that dating apps tend to be filled with emotional, unhealthy individuals, people struggling with unresolved trauma, insecure attachments, or instability. The results: a recent study revealed a shocking truth about modern dating. 65% of dating apps users are married or already in a relationship. While dating apps have become a mainstream way to meet people, used by over 44 million Americans, they may not be delivering the meaningful connections people hope for. Retired marriage counselor Dr. Taylor Burrows argues that dating apps actually work against those seeking long term love. So, what do you guys think about that? I mean, I don't know what's up with these dating apps. I guess it just depends on what you're really looking for. You know, if you get on there and you find somebody and y'all make a connection and you move it to the next level, then great. But outside of that, I think the dating apps are what they say. They're dating apps. So you dating folks, whatever happens while you're out there, it happens. But you're in it to in hopes that you find somebody that you can be with for a lifetime. So of course it's gonna be tough, um, you know, finding that person, but because everybody's on there for hookups and quick encounters and in and out encounters, it's easy. You ain't gotta leave your house. You can just pick people from screens, swipe, got this one, swipe, got that one. So I mean, it's like everything else. It's a comfort app. You don't gotta leave your house. You ain't gotta go out. You could just talk ish behind the screen. You ain't gotta have your confidence up. You ain't gotta put on clothes. You ain't gotta get in your car. You ain't gotta drive. You do all this in the comfort of your home, lying in your bed. So I don't think this is gonna go nowhere anytime soon. Hopefully, folks can start making some better connections. But in the meantime, just like dating without using the apps, it's hit and miss. It's gonna be the same way with the apps. So I just thought I'd bring that to the forefront just to let people know, you regardless, if you are on these apps, just make sure you out here trying to, really figure things out and find somebody that you can really break bread with. Or if you just, you want to just keep putting yourself in a situation that could potentially be harmful, then, you just keep swiping and keep, doing what you do on a regular basis with this one and that one. And of course, you'll just kind of find yourself in a situation that's going to be unfulfilling. And at some point, it could be harmful in some kind of way. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so last but not least, this mofo right here is back in the news. Um, he got a Netflix dropped the 4-part series on Diddy, The Reckoning. I got into like the first episode, and then I had to keep it moving, and I'll finish it up. So when I come back, we could talk about it a little bit more. But it just seemed like they're just paying Diddy to be who Diddy really was. It's crazy. Like a lot of times, a lot of people you think they one way, but you never really know, who they really are. Especially these celebrities, you put them on these pedestals, and you hear all these stories, and you still put them on these pedestals, and make it seem like they larger than life. And then when it all comes crumbling down and you really figure out who they are, you try to act like, oh my God, I really didn't know. I didn't know. Get the hell out of here. Yeah, it's new. You know what I'm saying? You know these folks out here doing people crazy, from the bad contracts to the escapades that's happening, all across sorry about that, folks. It's just, it's sad. You know what I'm saying? And Diddy is for whatever reason, I think Diddy shouldn't have, 50 Cent was the executive producer, and it's almost like when you get in the crosshairs of 50, it's good night, Irene. You know what I'm saying? He is not somebody you want as an enemy, and It seems like 50 said, one time back in the day, Diddy asked him to take him shopping, and he just, from that point forward, it rubbed him in such a way that he ain't never forgot, because in his mind, he felt like Diddy was trying to get him trapped up. So he always would be talking about it in interviews and things of that nature. And now he circled back and did a 4-part documentary on Diddy and his shenanigans. So we'll keep our eye out on that. Like I said, I'll dive into it a little bit more over the next couple of days. So by the time we come back next week, we'll be able to get into full details. But it don't look good. From the first part that I seen, Diddy was out there wilding again. I mean, somehow, some way, they got the behind the scene footages, like right up to the point where he was getting ready to go to trial. So it's a lot of ish, that they're bringing forth. So, we'll keep our eye on it. We'll let you know. Like I said, next time I come, I've been watched all 4 episodes of the documentary, and we'll be able to talk shop. All right. All right. So let's get into these mortgage hacks, realist mortgage and real estate hacks, and then I'm gonna get on up and out of here. Try to work on getting better. So next week, hopefully, I'll be in full-fledged how I was mode. You know what I'm saying? All right. So hack number 1, the escrow interest flip. Here's a trick most homeowners don't know. If your lender is over collecting escrows, you can request an escrow recalculation and a refund. Many people get $600 to $1,500 back instantly and a lower monthly payments. The escrow interest flip. All right. So hack 2, the 3 trade line credit boost. Before applying for a mortgage, add 3 instant update trade lines: Experian Boost, a rent reporting service, a utility reporting services. Most borrowers jump 15 to 40 points in under 30 days. All right, that's the 3 trade line credit boost. All right, track hack number 3, the 2-in-1 buy down cheat code. Use seller concessions to pay for a 2-1 buy down. You get 2% lower in year 1, rate 1% lower in year 2, and you don't pay out of pocket. Perfect for high rate environments like right now. All right, so that's the 2-1 buy down cheat code. Hack number 4, the house hack trio strategy. Buy a duplex or triplex with FHA 3.5% down. Rent the other units and use the income to qualify for more home while paying less mortgage. Works for first-time buyers and investors. I think we kind of hit this on another hack. So those are the 4 hacks for you guys today. And that's just gonna wrap it up. I try to kind of get in and get out today. Like I said, I didn't want to not come up and give you some information to kind of walk away with today. It's the Mortgage Mayhem podcast, so I can't just I got to suck it up and come and pop it off. We're growing, we're small, ain't got a lot of folks or whatever. We're picking up folks as we go. So and like I said, I do this for the love. This is almost like my therapy. So as time goes on, I know we'll pick up, the show will get better, cameras will get better. But in the meantime, I'm just having fun, talking daily events, educating you, bringing up guests, doing interviews. We got a couple hot interviews coming up. So we're going to keep doing our thing, right? But in the meantime, in between time, let's go ahead and wrap this up. This episode number 36, like I said, where the news is wild. The markets are shifting, and the hacks are literally saving you thousands. If you learned something today, hit follow, share, subscribe, and send this to someone who needs real talk about real estate, money, and the world around them. I'm your humble host, G Money. Stay sharp, stay informed, and I'll see you guys on the next show. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right, folks, we out of here.